Hi, welcome to Splash and Go. Nate Ryan here with Dustin Long. And Dustin, Joey Logano's playoffs come to an end at ISM Raceway, and it happened in a manner that was similar to how it had happened throughout the playoffs, really, for the 22 team. This was an ugly playoff run, and both Joey Logano and Todd Gordon talked about it after the race, that it was this mysterious adjustment that pretty much killed their chances of advancing to the championship round. Let's hear what both of them had to say.
So it went from a car that can lead and win a stage and run really well, and from what they told me, just an air pressure adjustment made it go from a winning car to can't stay on a lead lap, and one of the tightest things I've ever driven. And I don't really understand it. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you change tires and change a half pound of air. That sounds ridiculous. So
I really struggle to say that the half a pound of air pressure that we changed in one tire makes that much of a difference. But came back, went the other way on it for the next run. I actually ran laps faster than Denny for probably the first 15. So
it's a bummer for sure. It doesn't take anything away from that, but it's just part of the game sometimes.
All right, so Dustin, again, this is just how these playoffs went for the defending series champion, right? I mean, they had problems at Richmond, they had problems at Dover with the axle failure, crashes at Talladega, at Martinsville. What do you take away from the way the playoffs unfolded?
This is a very un-Penske-like playoffs, not only for Joey Logano, but you think about for Brad Keselowski. You think back to the previous round where, Brad was in a very good position to advance to the round of 8 and can't get out of his way at Kansas, and allows Chase Elliott, who has the good run, to race his way in, and all of a sudden Brad's out, and now you have the issues that Joey Logano had, and he's not he has his problems, and Ryan Blaney wasn't even a factor, because even though he had 3 top 10s in this round, he'd already been eliminated because they had not had, they were not able to go, I should say not eliminated, but just not able to advance because they just didn't have the points earlier in the season. So, it was a collective of, we'll look at for Joey Logano, it was the mysterious adjustment at Phoenix, ISM Raceway. We'll look at Brad Keselowski at Kansas. We'll look at Ryan Blaney as some other races earlier in the year. But I think if you look at collectively this organization, which is built on championships, I mean, look at all that they've done and all the championships they've held in the last year, just didn't produce and just did not do the things that did not meet Penske expectations.
Right. Which are always being prepared,
yes.
Double, triple checking everything. So is it as simple as that? Is it just better quality control next year, and Penske theoretically should do better and perhaps get a driver back to the championship round like they've had the last few years?
Sometimes bad things just happen. So, I mean, you look at like the issues with Chase Elliott with the engines that he had at Hendrick Motorsports. It's not like they have poor quality control, but sometimes bad things happen. Sometimes there's a bad batch, or sometimes there's an issue like that. So, but again, I think it's something you do look at with quality control, and it's something that you have to ensure, because you just cannot have these type of issues, whether it's a mistake, whether it's a piece that's not is a faulty piece or what. You just cannot have these, because as evidence of this, you'll be eliminated from the playoffs. I mean, Team Penske had a car in the championship 3 of the last 4 of the 5 years or so of the playoffs, and they're not in it this year. They're going to watch Joe Gibbs Racing and Kevin Harvick race for a championship because they could not put together clean races throughout the playoffs.
And last thing on Logano, I mean, yes, he doesn't get to defend his title, but the way they were able to fight all the way through these 9 races and almost give themselves a shot. I mean, he had 1 top 5. And Logano said himself this was an ugly playoff stretch. I mean, did they show a little bit that, yes, maybe they don't get back to Homestead-Miami Speedway to defend that championship, but they still had that heart of a champion, that they were able to grit their way through and almost make something out of nothing?
Well, I think a couple of things were key with Joey Logano with that team is, for a good part of the year, he was battling Kyle for the regular season points lead. And so they had a very good, strong regular season. We heard some of the comments from drivers that didn't advance the championship after ISM Raceway, that they've got to be better in the regular season. And I think a Joey Logano, even a Kyle Busch showed that with how much he struggled in the playoffs, is that you have all those playoff points that you built up, and then you get the bonus points for being first or second in the regular season. So I think that's as much of a key. But I think you also look at Joey and look at all the stage points that he scored throughout the playoffs. That's what saved him. Other than Dover, where they had the problem immediately before the green flag, you know, they were able to score stage points in a lot of races before having issues. I mean, he scored stage points Sunday at ISM Raceway before he had the issue, and the car suddenly went bad. So I think it shows, again, if you need the reminder, you need to be good in those first 26, because that will impact what happens, and that provides that cushion. But also, you look at how they were able to be in a good enough position to play for points. And again, that helped them because it was an ugly playoffs, like you said.
Yeah, it almost got them there, though, regardless. Yeah. But a lot of questions for that team in the offseason. A lot of questions maybe for Kyle Petty, Dale Jarrett. Motor Mouths, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, NASCAR America on NBCSN. Check that out. Thanks for watching Splash and Go.
Hey Motorsports fans, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe before you go for all the latest news and highlights across motorsports.